I got involved with Girls on the Run because my oldest daughter, Ashley, did the program when she was in the 5th grade. And I saw a remarkable change in her as she went through the program. So that was my first introduction to Girls on the Run. I've been a board member for 3 years, most of it as a treasurer. I decided to serve in the capacity of treasurer after going through a program at the United Way called the Board Orientation Leadership Development Program, or BOLD. That was a 6-week program that had 2 half-day sessions each week, and at the end they matched you up with a nonprofit. So you had to go around with what I like to call speed dating with 20 to 30 nonprofits to try to find a match. So you talk to each one for 5 minutes and move on to the next. I saw Girls on the Run during that process. They had a table set up, talked to them. They had a need for a treasurer, which aligned with my skills from my day job, which worked out really well. They needed a treasurer. My daughter had great results with Girls on the Run. I wanted to get involved with something that involved young kids and being active, so it was a perfect match. I did find out that there were more than one person interested in the role, so I actually interviewed for the role, which told me, wow, there's a lot of demand for this one position at Girls on the Run. It must be a great organization to get involved with. Had a great experience talking to the people that were there that day. So that was the beginning of the story, and it ended up working out really well for the next 3 years. I work for Sunny Delight, and they became involved in the program, first of all, by allowing me the time to be a board member. So I was able to do some things during work hours, as well as leave work to go to board meetings, etc. And then they've since become involved even further by becoming a sponsor. So they're now a sponsor. We get our name on the back of t-shirts, that type of thing. So I've gotten involved with the program by going to a water stop, for instance, during the Hyde Park Blast, which is just a super fun time. I usually bring one of my daughters with me. We get up early on Saturday and hand out water to the runners who are running 4 miles, generally in pretty hot, humid weather, and are very appreciative. I've also had some very fulfilling experiences manning a table at expos for the Flying Pig Marathon, as well as the Heart Mini Marathon, where the Girls on the Run has a table at the expo and people come up just to talk about Girls on the Run. Some people have never heard of the program, and you start talking to them about it, especially females. They say, wow, I wish they had this program when I was a kid. And you just kind of get goosebumps all over because it's such a great feeling knowing you've told somebody about a program and informed them about a program that they find great value in. So a lot of times those type of people either get involved themselves, or if they have a daughter, they say, wow, I really want to get my daughter involved in that program. So that's been a really fun experience for me. It has changed me in that I now have a much better appreciation for what young girls go through in their formative years. So I was the oldest of 5. We had 4 boys in the family and just 1 girl. So we made her act more like the guys than the girls, and really weren't in tune with her issues as she was growing up. But having 4 girls, I needed to get in tune with what was going through my girls' minds and what they were dealing with socially. And this really helped pave the way and prepare me for the issues they were going to face as they grew up and got older. And it did a great job of that. As far as my girls, 2 of my girls have been through the program. One's going through it this year. And I saw a marked change in each one of them. So my oldest daughter was fairly athletic. She went through the program. I don't think she had a great appreciation for people who were not as athletic as she was. However, as I saw her go through this program, I saw her develop a much better appreciation for the people who weren't quite as athletic. She started to realize, boy, they have other skills. They could play the piano really well, or they're really smart. So she started to realize everybody has a skill, and it made her much more personable in talking to them. My second daughter that went through the program, I've seen a marked change in her in the way she chooses her friends. So she sees people who aren't the type of people that espouse the values that Girls on the Run talks about, and she avoids those type of people to hang out with people who are more along the same values she has. The most powerful part of Girls on the Run for me is really a 2-part answer. It's one that they develop independence. So they realize that as girls, they can have their own spirit, their own way to do things. And it doesn't have to be what society wants them to be. It can be what they want to be. And I think that society so many times tries to put people, in girls especially, in a box, or they become dependent on somebody. This tells them, hey, that you can really be independent. I think it also teaches them to take a positive approach to the world around them instead of a negative approach. So they don't play victim. They say, you know what, I can change something in this world. And I think Girls on the Run really helps the girls understand that at a very formative age for them. In those preteen years when they're going through the program, they still really believe in that. They're not infected with the cynicism of the world. And as long as they get that ingrained in them at a young age, I think they carry it with them throughout their lives. I would encourage people, especially dads and men, to get involved with Girls on the Run because it helps them understand what their daughters go through and maybe even what their wives went through. And so I think it helps men to be able to connect on a better level, particularly with daughters. Men have their own experience growing up, and like me, I grew up in basically a frat house, a mini frat house when I was young, with with 3 brothers out of 5 kids. So understood the male psyche and the way guys grow up, but didn't have a very good understanding about how girls grow up and what kind of issues they face, which are different. And by getting involved in this program, understanding what the girl box is and talking to my girls about it, it's been a way to speak that same language. Talking about unplugging the negative cord and plugging in the positive cord is another way to have a conversation with the girls on a level that makes sense to them, especially once they've been through the program. So it gives you a language to speak to that really helps, I think, deal with some challenging situations as girls go through their preteen and teenage years.